Hello, my name is Amani Kiruga, a former student at ISK class of 2020 and now a PhD student at Harvard University. Some of my most meaningful projects at ISK were in sustainability. One of those was Plastic Fiki, which I helped to start. One thing that we wanted to prioritize at Plastic Fiki was finding a way to get these machines that we were building out into the local economy and the local community. One of those was working with this group at Mathare, which is, as you know, a slum, and Kibera as well, and helping them to set up their machines, helping them to figure out how are they going to actually start making a profit. And another one was going all the way to the coast, where we also tried to help set up our machines there and try to see if we can connect with the local recycling industry that was already well established there. The other project I worked on was the Seed Ball project, which was sort of under the umbrella of numerous different clubs. I worked on it actually as a class project in Mr. Suga's Design Tech IB class. And it was so fascinating because I had to go through the design process and build a functioning seed dispenser for these seed balls that we were helping to make and distribute. And so mine ended up being a very simple system that we attached on a camel, and that was actually filmed being used, which was great. And in my work right now, I work in trying to make vision for robotic systems. Specifically, I'm answering how do humans perceive the world so well? We can see depth, we can see objects, we can understand how everything's organized and composed together. A lot of it is to do with 3D reconstruction and robotic manipulation. And lastly, I also want to announce that I am happily married to my wife, Nicole, who is about to graduate from Brown, also in a PhD program in chemistry. So, great to see you all.
Hi ISK, happy 50th anniversary. I'm Anders from the class of 2022. When I was at ISK, I was the leader of Project Greenhouse. We implemented a biogas digester and used food waste from around the campus to create biogas. This started my interest in alternative energy sources, and here at Stanford, I'm continuing that work with studying energy science and engineering. Right there is solar panels as part of a multi-million-dollar microgrid project that I helped implement. The skills at ISK, such as project management and teamwork, really lent themselves very well to the work that I'm doing here, because in the energy world, doing projects on time and on budget are paramount. I was also part of the Carbon Neutral Alliance, where we talked to the board of trustees to fund a carbon audit. Stakeholder management, presentation, and communication are really important skills that I continue to use to this day. When I jump into my career as a policy analyst for energy, I'm excited to use these skills to make changes and bring stakeholders to the table to make our electricity system more clean, more affordable, and more resilient. In the next 50 years, I'm excited for the possibility of ISK to be carbon neutral and eventually maybe even run on clean electricity 24/7, 365.
Hey ISK, how's it going? My name is Kurt. I graduated class of 2023, so I'm now a third year for aerospace engineering at Georgia Tech. I'm now the chief engineer for Georgia Tech's liquid rocketry team. I've interned at SpaceX twice, first on the Starship Tower team and then on the Starship Mechanisms team. And I now also do research for lunar robotics, so various robots that can explore the lunar surface and use resources to construct habitats and stuff like that. During my time at ISK, I was an original founding member of the Carbon Neutral Alliance, and I was also one of the design leads for Plastic Fiki. And I think both of those had a huge impact on sort of the trajectory that I took after high school, where it's this really unique blend of being able to go talk to the board of ISK or the ambassador to Kenya, and then come back to school and immediately get into very in-depth, advanced manufacturing and design work. I would say I still use all of these skills on a day-to-day basis for all of my work here, whether it's talking to stakeholders and getting their requirements, or managing a large team of interdisciplinary design work, or even the hardcore design and manufacturing skills that I learned in the design lab. It might seem like all the different skills that you learn on a certain project or club are super specific and niche to that one experience, but actually they're really applicable to basically whatever you want to do. For example, I still use all the sort of 3D manufacturing, injection molding techniques that I learned in Plastic Fiki even today for injection molding and creating habitats with lunar resources on the moon. ISK really is one of the only places in the world that you can have access to these types of opportunities, teams, clubs, etc. So choose one, get really hands-on, get really in-depth into it, and you can have a huge impact. Congrats on 50 years.
Hi, I'm Oli Rudd. I graduated ISK in 2020. While I was there, I ran the greenhouse and aquaponics project. Since then, I left, went to the UK and studied agriculture with mechanization. I then spent a year working for the future farming department of a large fresh produce company. Since then, I've moved back to Kenya and have a couple of projects going on. One of them is that I'm setting up a charity working with smallholder farmers where we teach soil health, soil practices to improve soil health. And the other is very new, and it's that we're going to be setting up a tree nursery in Mao Narok on the edge of the Mao forest, where we'll teach farmers how to integrate tree systems into their livestock systems. The other project is that I'm helping set up a farm in the DRC. But that's all from me now, and I can't wait to see your part in ISK's green future.
Hello everyone, my name is Sumed. I'm from the ISK class of 24. I'm currently studying engineering at Imperial College. But during my time at ISK, I spent a lot of my time at the design lab working with Pratik Rafiki in construction by design, and it's impossible to overstate just how much that informed my sensibilities and confidence as an aspiring engineer. The familiarity and experience you get in the design cycle and by troubleshooting issues by working in Pratik Rafiki or construction by design is something that you take for granted until you come to college and then realize how uncommon it is. What I'm trying to say is we're very fortunate at ISK to have both the material and intellectual resources that we do that gave me such an in-depth insight into how real-life engineering design cycles work and standards that are used in the industry that made my transition into college life so much smoother. All that I have left to do is to thank the people at the design lab for the passion in engineering that they cemented in me. Thank you very much.
Happy Earth Day, everyone. I'm Alex, and I graduated ISK in 2025. I'm super excited to be sharing what I'm going to be working on this summer. While I was at ISK, I spent a lot of time working on batteries. I worked on aqueous batteries, which aren't the typical lithium ones you would find in the store, but are rather chemicals put together in water. I spent a lot of time prototyping, 3D printing stuff, designing control circuits, managing pumping, and while it was sometimes disappointing, I learned so much about the complexity of the process. This coming summer, I'm going to be working as a research intern at Stanford Linear Accelerator Complex Battery Lab, which is a state-of-the-art facility where I'm going to get to make these batteries in real scientific rigor and implement my own machine learning model to try to help speed up the process. And while it's just a start, I'm really glad to share where I'm at. Happy Earth Day.